Question 2, Sarah Boyack.
To ask the Scottish Executive what action it is taking to help newly qualified teachers into work.
Michael Russell.
Presiding Officer, the Scottish Government has taken a number of actions to help support post-probation teachers into work. We made the difficult decision to reduce the intake of student teachers, which will free up more posts for newly qualified teachers. We created a scheme to allow local authorities to borrow up to £10 million to cover the upfront costs of early retirement and free up jobs for newly qualified teachers. It is disappointing that only 2 councils have applied to participate in this scheme. However, we know that some councils, Fife and North Ayrshire amongst others, are encouraging teachers to retire early and are choosing to manage this through their own existing resources. We continue to work closely with COSLA and local authorities to achieve better reconciliation between local and national teacher workforce planning, with a view to re-establishing an appropriate balance between teacher supply and demand.
Sarah Boyack.
Can I thank the Minister for his warm words, but tell him that the real worries are for this year's probationary teachers, who look at the statistics and know that only 30% of the 2008-9 cohort had obtained a permanent contract, which is down from over 50% a couple of years ago. And of that group, nearly 14% had still not found jobs, double the rate of 2 years ago. The Minister talks about work with local authorities, but given there were only 20 vacancies in Edinburgh's primary and secondary schools in February, what reassurances can he give those new teachers trained in Scotland that they'll get jobs here, rather than having to leave the teaching profession or look further afield for jobs?
Minister.
Well, Presiding Officer, I am engaged very closely with this issue, and nobody, and I entirely accept Sarah Boyack's concern, nobody wants to have newly qualified teachers who find themselves unable to find full-time permanent employment. And there is a strong discussion going on to see how we can help at every single part of the professional progression of an individual through training into education. But the sharp point is this, that local authorities are having to make differences to their expenditure. There are problems in employment. And let me, Presiding Officer, with the best will in the world, ask a question which was posed by Hugh Riley in his column in The Scotsman yesterday. It is, of course, a rhetorical question. I recognise that this is question time for others, not for me. But this rhetorical question is worth posing. Is it true? Will the Labour Party immediately order the hiring of thousands of teachers were they to come into government? Or do they recognise the difficulty, and will they work with everybody to try and assist in that difficulty rather than to trade on it politically? Because by doing that, they are actually attacking the very people they claim to be helping.